Is it on now? Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for that. That was really fun. I love that music, too. That was really cool. So a little trivia, not really, but I was the speaker at Rotaract last night. Yeah, it was really fun. It was on campus in the classroom building, the building directly to the north of the Student Union. I had a lot of classes in there. It looked smaller. I don't know. But it was really good to be back in there. There were probably 13, 14. They were all guys. All but two of them were members of the AGR House. They were very involved. I thought it was really neat that they were there. Not a single one of them fell asleep. So I always consider that a success when I go speak to groups. And since James McDonald is not here today, I might actually succeed in here as well. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I'm a bum James isn't here, by the way, but because I know he would have all kinds of questions. But I think most people know what Visit Stillwater is. I'm going to try to share with you some things that you may not know that we do. But I'll start out by saying last week on Wednesday, October 30th, I celebrated my 29th anniversary with Visit Stillwater. Wow. That was crazy. It's hard to believe I have been doing it that long, and I was with the Chamber 5 years before that, so I have promoted and marketed Stillwater my entire career, which I absolutely love. It is just fun to do. Being in the middle, and to Kevin's point a second ago, I've been in the middle of economic development for Stillwater for, 3.5 decades now, and I have never known of a project that's going to make such an incredible impact on our community, and I am so incredibly grateful for that and so excited, and so a big thank you to those that were supportive, because I think we're going to be hearing about that decision for decades to come because of all the improvements that will make. I will also mention, because Chris asked me to do it, to mention this, he is on a birthday trip right now. But another board member, Tommy Schreffler's here. Is Mark Gunkel, our CPA, is here. Past board members are here. Future board members are here. But when we went to a vote of the people to increase the hotel tax, we now call the visitor tax. When you call it a hotel tax, the hotels seem to think it's their money. It's the visitors who spend it. It's a visitor tax. They're the ones who spend the money. They're the ones who predominantly fund what we do and other destination marketing organizations around the world. That's our primary funding source. So basically, visitors are funding the experience of future visitors. We hadn't increased that tax since inception, July 1, 1985, for 37 years. We did increase it from 4% to 7%, 2.5-ish years ago. And since that time, if you remember, we were talking about kind of a 70-30, 70% going to marketing, 30% going to local quality of life amenities and visitor development amenities. That 30% has already generated about $1.2 million in a very short period of time. So once again, to what Kevin was talking about and Tim was talking about, we have another funding source that are going to make some of these things that we have been talking about for years and years and years that haven't been able to be accomplished, we'll finally get to accomplish them. So we're really excited about the future plans for that as well. It's going to be great for Stillwater. I know I've known a lot of you for a very long time, and you know when I first started, the organization I now represent was called VACE. And I know a lot of you are going to remember that. Of course, yes, Dr. Wedman. But Visitors and Special Events Bureau. But I was born and thought that a vase was something that you put on a table with flowers in them, and so we hated that. So I started doing research, realized that at that time the industry term was Convention and Visitors Bureau, switched our name to that, to Convention and Visitors Bureau. Then we started doing a lot of research kind of nationwide. I started getting really involved in other organizations and realized many of us who are calling ourselves convention and visitor bureaus do not, in fact, have convention centers, so how on earth would that accurately describe what we do? But what we do is promote and market our communities. We're the brand ambassadors. We live, eat, and breathe the Stillwater experience every single day of our lives. So what we do is market. So that's when the term changed to destination marketing organization. So what we do is market and sell the community all the time. And then so that's why at that point organizations started changing their names to Visit whatever the organization or destination was, or there's Choose Chicago, but most of us are Visit in that destination's name. We had some other names in there, but that was thanks to a previous city manager, and we don't even need to go into all of that. But we have been Visit Stillwater for quite some time, and it wasn't Norman. But he knew exactly who I was talking about. But it's really great to be able to, I think, as an organization and as a very forward-thinking board, is do what's considered best practices and not just do things because that's how they've always been done. Aspire to do better. Always, we have more technology at Visit Stillwater than actually Oklahoma City and Tulsa have, because part of that is we have a smaller team, but another part of that is we like to try new things. We're very much out there. And when we contract with other organizations, for instance, the ability for any of you to enter your events on our website, that's a huge investment we've made in our website, but it makes it very user-friendly for our residents. So about 5 years ago, destination marketing organizations, like I know a lot of you knew that my license plate used to be HDZ NBDZ. Can you figure out what that means? Heads and beds. Who said that? Was it Steve? Yeah, because we were parked right by each other for many, many years, right? So I had to actually get a textbook page from Oklahoma State that explained that heads and beds is an industry term before the Oklahoma Tax Commission would approve that particular license plate. But at that time, I really did. That's a true story. But at that time, we were all about the heads and beds. All destination marketing organizations cared about at that time was bringing in the visitor and make sure they're spending the night, because that's our funding source. Well, since that time, because of a lot of changes that's happened throughout the country, we've become a lot more than that. And so my license plate, I do have that one framed up in my office, but my license plate now says Visit. Because it's not just about the overnight visit. What we do is bring people into a community and have a great experience. We may not be the exact reason why they came, but we feel responsible for their experience once they get here. So that's why we market and promote so heavily to our residents, because we're a two-person staff right now, and we're promoting over 2,000 local events, and we're promoting over 250 businesses a year. And frankly, we probably spend more money and time promoting their business for them and their event for them than they spend on their own. So that's why we really take it seriously. We want all of these local businesses to be really successful, because the more successful they are, the more successful we're all going to be. But we as a team don't have hotel rooms, we don't have meeting facilities, catering options, the ability to make balloon arches, whatever, but our partners do. So that's why we communicate and work so closely with partners. That's why during the pandemic, my team and I, we called every single hospitality-related business in Stillwater once a week for about 18 months, it's felt like. I mean, it was definitely about 13, but we contacted them consistently to say, how's your business changed? Are you doing curbside service? Are you at least selling gift cards? How can we keep the revenue coming into your place of business during this time? Well, it's never stopped. So now we partner so closely with restaurants, museums, attractions, hotels, anyone that a visitor would interact with, we definitely work with them. And our marketing isn't just outside of Stillwater now to bring people in, it's for our residents. So we've become it's just as important for us to market and promote to the residents the importance of spending money locally. Don't go to Edmond or Oklahoma City, Tulsa, wherever, and go spend all your money, especially this time of year, because those dollars you spend is what's going to help fix our infrastructure, our streets, our roads, and provide essential services to our community. That's why we created last year, I put those flyers on your table because it's about to kick off again. Last year we started the Fly Home for the Holidays, and we love that event. For every $50 you spend locally from November 23rd, November 23rd coincides with the big holiday open house downtown, the Leafer Lodge Christmas tree farm, they open on the 23rd. A lot of holiday activities are going to happen on the 23rd. So that's when we're going to kick this off. And we're going to extend it through the Sunday after the New Year because of all the after Christmas sales that you can go take advantage of. So for every $50 you spend, you'll be entered in once for every $50 to win one of 5 $500 American Airlines gift cards. And what we love about that is it's keeping the dollars local. It's reminding people that we have an excellent airport, that we have commercial air service through American Airlines. But we also just want people to have that experience. Go out to the airport. Make sure that you know that it's a service that you can provide, or at least tell your family, friends, other people around. In fact, I'm really good friends with most of the tourism people, obviously, in this state. But the one in Guthrie, he said he was having a conversation with me, and his brother needed to go fly to see some family. I said, well, have him fly through Stillwater. He goes, that's ridiculous. And I said, no. And so I was telling him the story. Sure enough, his brother flew through Stillwater. He drove him up here because he didn't know there was free parking, I guess, although that's kind of what we promote a lot, right, Kelly? But he's flying out of Stillwater Regional Airport instead of going to Oklahoma City. So I think it just takes that experience. But that's, once again, one of those things. When I first started, I said the three things we need the most in Stillwater is a direct air service, for sure, a conference center, big time, and multi-purpose athletic facilities. And then there would be no stopping us. We would be generating so much money for this community, and we have one, and I feel really good about getting the others. So it's scary and sad to me to see all that money leave our communities every weekend when people with their kids are going to play in tournaments, you know this, out of town. I mean, that's so much money. And so a lot of people with resources and great imaginations and drive are going to make a lot of these things happen for Stillwater, so I'm really excited about that. I was going to mention our 24/7 visitor center. We were talking about this, we were talking to Gary Teal about it. He came by to pick up the Harvest 2. He's a lot stronger than he looks, by the way. We were talking about the visitor center. He came in, but he was trying to set me up. He came in, he goes, Cristy, I just needed to tell you they found another speaker. You don't need to be at Rotary today. Just go ahead and take it easy. He was trying to set me up for failure. But now Gary Teal and I went through Dale Carnegie together. Do you remember that? We will forever remember that for sure. But he was talking about the visitor center. And I think one thing most people would find shocking is while it says Visitor Information Center, at some point we may take that visitor part off, because we have 50% residents and 50% visitors that come in. And I think a big part of that is because we are the one-stop shop to everything Stillwater. If there's a business that has a rack, card, or anything to promote that business, we'll display it. If you have an event, we'll put your flyer up. If you have a banner, we'll put your banner up. Anything that we can do to promote your event or your business, free of charge to you, we're going to do it because we want you to be successful, to generate more money for the entire community. So I would encourage you, even if you've lived in Stillwater your whole life, I promise you if you come into our office and go into that visitor center or the information center, you will definitely learn something that you didn't already know. We'd also noticed that we were having a lot more Spanish-speaking visitors come in. Okay, so I screw up in the mornings, I screw up at lunch. Okay, all right. So we put together a brochure, and I accidentally brought it in here because I'm going to drop it off to a couple people. But we put together a Spanish language brochure and did some research on some businesses in town that will cater towards Spanish-speaking residents because, and I didn't realize this, I've learned a lot through this process. I have also never published anything with our logo on it that I can't, in fact, proofread myself. So it was crazy and different, but I'm so glad we did it because we've had several people come in and use it. A local whose parents are from Columbia, they were in visiting, and it just made them feel so welcome that we had that simple brochure. We've had several people proofread it. We've had a lot of businesses be asked to be included to the next one because they have staff that can cater towards the Spanish-speaking population. And I didn't realize that unless you have the means in Mexico to go to private school, chances are not only can you not read English, you can't read at all. And so I had no idea. So we're trying to do more things to be able to cater toward some of our other residents, because we definitely want them to be welcomed and be part of America's friendliest college town as well. So a lot of things I think that people just see happen. Visit Stillwater is behind making them happen, and we're really proud to make those things occur. In fact, we had a gentleman, Chris Pope. I don't know if you know him. He does a really cool, he provides books to the Maasai tribe in Tanzania. And he came in right before I came here, and he's wanting some help trying to figure out how to finance this project. And it's not necessarily something you would think a tourism development organization would do, but those are the kinds of things that we help with every day, all the time. And we just love being that instrumental as part of the community to make residents feel more part of being a home as well. So I'm happy to answer questions, or we could do some, I got the help of my good friend Kelly, because we work really, really closely with the airport. So we have some airport trivia, and you're not going to get fined if you don't know the answer, but you're going to get some really fun. Oops, don't show Kevin I did that. You know what you get when you fly on American Airlines? So if you get the questions correctly, we will give you some cookies. But did you have a question, Joe?
Hold on, Joe. You mentioned America's friendliest college town. How, and what's the story behind how we earned that designation?
That's well, we did. Well, I will tell you every, and I think I've told this group before, but I've been a part of many, many, many surveys, both internally and externally to Stillwater. And the three things that come up in every study over the last 6 years I've been involved in have said three things when asked, residents or visitors, when asked about Stillwater, what are the first three things you think of? What do you think they are?
OSU.
Yes. The three things so the three things are Oklahoma State University, Eskimo Joe's, and Friendly. So we started as a team. It's been about 17 years ago. My team and I started calling ourselves America's friendliest college town. Well, then we started putting it on our website and our social media posts. It's been on the cover of our annual publication that we print 100,000 copies of and get out all across the country every year. And so we trademarked it. And because Oregon State University started using it. And I was like, I'm not going to put up with that. So we did trademark it. We only trademarked it because we didn't want other communities using it, because OSU uses it, athletics uses it, the chambers used it, the cities used it. We want everybody in Stillwater to use it. I'd love to see it in people's advertising. I'd love to see it everywhere. But we're not going to let anyone outside of Stillwater use it. No way.
Especially if they're called OSU.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the hub. When does that open, and how do you think that'll impact your work?
Oh, I think it's great. It's supposed, well, I haven't seen a lot happening with it yet, but like into summer.
Yeah, it'll be towards the end of next year, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no gambling.
Yet.
No gambling at the
Yes, we know.
Cristy, several years ago, at least I heard rumor or talk of changing the railroad tracks, that aren't in use anymore, to walking, hiking, biking trails. Is that still in the plan?
Yeah. So yes, it is. We've had some good news recently. We actually just received another $1.2 million from the state to do the next mile. So the first award that we received from the state through federal grant funding, we received, it'll do Lakeview to McElroy, and then we just on the second phase will do McElroy to the 6th Street downtown area. So yes, that's all to be negotiated. So the other challenge in a Rails to Trails project is the amount of legal work that has to be done to have the railroad abandoned, and we've gotten successfully through that project. The state's been a great advocate with us. They're excited about this project, so their attorneys actually did all that work on the federal level to get the abandonment done. So now we have a year to negotiate the terms of removing the rails and all that. But it's a win-win. We'll still have rail access for all our industry to the north, like Kingspan and the new Armstrong building. They've gotten a $6 million grant from the state to rehab the rail to get it open again. So it's just been a huge win. And then just so the other thing that we did early on, Norman and I went and met with the owner of the mill. So that's the only one that would be affected that's ever used rail access. And when we met with her, Pam said, she's like, I would love to see it as a trail. We don't see rail in our future. So she's been an advocate for us too. So yeah. Yeah, so we, as soon as we get through the negotiation phase, but we've already started engineering, and it is really exciting to see all the amenities and things we're going to do it. I hope that we're, in maybe a year from now, starting to break ground and starting to remove rails and do things like that.
And Brady is very modest, but we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for him and his perseverance, because it's been brought up a little bit over the years, but Brady made it happen. So big thank you. Because that's good. Once again, people love to live in a community that they also enjoy visiting. And so everything that increases our quality of life as residents is also a great amenity for us to bring visitors into our community as well.
I have a quick question. I know you're promoting events all year long. We've got a particularly big event in April. How's that going to go?
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Lots of people.
Yeah, Brady, me, OSU, athletics, we've already started meeting about it. I promise you it's going to be outstanding to the point where we're going to want to do this every quarter. That's how I do that, but I might taper back on that a little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, it can happen every quarter. But we're really excited. That's going to be great. I got to tell you, a big congratulations to those artists, because they are so loyal to Stillwater and their original roots of red dirt music, and that is really neat that they do come back to Stillwater. But that's a great opportunity for us on a lot of different levels. And my hope is that people have to rent semis with food in them so that they have enough to feed all the people that are in for that whole week. Because I assume people will be here for a whole week. They're not going to want to miss any of the fun. Okay, Kelly. So Kelly's going to ask some questions. And then if a single person, since we're almost out of time, gets that question right, their whole table gets a cookie.
Okay, are we ready? These questions, Cristy handpicked out related to the airport and commercial service. So what day did American Airlines begin providing service at Stillwater? What day? Month, day, year? We'll take 3 guesses. What year? We'll take another guess. You got the month right. Your whole table's going to get a cookie.
Wasn't anybody else on that first flight? Okay, go to
How about August 2016?
There you go. We're going to take that. August 23rd. So in 2 years, we have our 10-year anniversary. Very big news. Okay, on average, how many passengers does Stillwater Regional Airport support annually? How many commercial service passengers? Is that an official guess? A little less than that. We'll take it. Close. We're aiming to be over 35,000 this next year. Last year we had just over 33,000. This table. All right. How early, if you're flying on American Airlines, how early should you arrive at Stillwater before your departure if you're checking bags? An hour and a half to 2 hours is generally recommended if you're checking bags. You can squeeze it in less than that if you're not going to check bags. So once you arrive in Dallas-Fort Worth, which is where we provide commercial service twice daily, how many destinations are offered from DFW throughout the world? We'll take one more guess. Close, but more. We'll take it over there. 254 destinations. And then do we have time for one more, Cristy? What year was the Stillwater Regional Airport built and opened? Far earlier. 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 Close, a little higher. Yes, that's it. December of 1929. Yep. So we're 2 years away from our 10-year anniversary of commercial air service, and we're 5 years away? Almost 5 years away from our centennial. Big deal. Okay, one more. Where does Stillwater Regional Airport rank in the busiest airports throughout Oklahoma? I heard it multiple places. 4 is right. Good job. To Oklahoma City is 1, Tulsa is 2, Lawton's 3. We're 4.
All right, while they're distributing cookies, I have never seen this club want to fight for something before like these cookies. This is great. Can you bring more next week? Yes. Cristy, thank you for your time today.